when we lived on Wabash Ave the first time, Dave, he was always a very outgoing person, even though he said when he was younger he wasn't. But when I got to know him, he was. And he used to be downstairs, and he used to call up to my mother, "Mom, Mom." This was before we were married. And my mother used to say, "Shh, the neighbors, what do they think?" Which reminds me of another story that Mickey used to come to visit Betty. Betty adored Mickey, and of course he adored her. And when we were living there, she was 12 years older than me, so she was already a young lady, and he used to come to visit, and the neighbors used to say, "The Cutlers have a Shagets that's coming to visit their daughter." He was so good looking, and he didn't look the least bit Jewish, and they really were very much in love. In fact, Betty had a suitor from Athol. Mickey didn't have any money. This man was established, had a business, and he had a store that sold clothing and used to give things to Betty, and he wanted very much to marry her, but he could give her clothing, but she wanted only Mickey. She had only eyes for him. And of course they did marry. Unfortunately, I never got to their wedding. That was a problem with the Silver family. But I heard about it, and Richard seems to remember that they spent one of their nights, they were married in New York. They had to take their wedding there, unfortunately. So Frank and I were left home alone. And I remember that he took me to the movies.
What'd you see?
Well, the story is that he took me to Strange Interlude with Norma Shearer, which was not a movie for a young child. I don't know why, but I guess he wanted to see it. So I don't think I understood it. But that was what happened. And eventually Betty and Mickey came home and they lived with us.
You were going to tell the story of their honeymoon, though.
Well, their honeymoon, Richard said he thinks they went to Trenton and spent a night at 195 Locust Street and that the bed creaked. I don't know about that.
All the beds creaked.
But I know they have everybody has fond memories of Locust Street.
Eating bacon, going to the candy.
When we were married, I still remember I was 12 years younger than Betty. And my mother used to be very partial to Mickey with the food. Whatever, she always gave him the best part of whatever was available, and I was jealous. I remember saying, I don't know why he got the best part of whatever was available, which was very foolish of me, but I was only very naive and young. But we eventually they did move out and moved to Loxwood Street, and Mickey was in the business, and they did okay. And my mother was the most wonderful cook. She used to make knishes that were unbelievably wonderful. And Richard and Ronnie used to go over to walk from Loxwood Street to Wabash Ave to get the knishes, and I used to eat half the knishes before we ever got to them.
Why not?
And she made hummuntaschen that were marvelous. But Auntie Faggy made good hummuntaschen too. But as good as they weren't as good as my mother's. But Auntie Faggy, I remember, used to mail them to a lot of the people. She was great. And my mother also made a wonderful kugel that nobody could replicate, no matter what, with fine noodles, not with broad noodles. But everybody loved her food.